everyone, it's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I never do this alone. I have the ladies. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mariam. How are you?
I'm fine,
I love your hair.
Oh, thank you.
So
Once
beautiful.
again,
We love it every time we see
every
it.
time
Yeah,
she
it's
sees
so
it.
beautiful. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine, thank you. I spent my weekend drawing floor plans. You know, I told you I've been doing the classes for interior designing. So I learned that there's a difference between designing and decorating. So a decorator just comes and puts furniture around in a nice way, but a designer would look at the space and come up with what best
You know that
aesthetically and functionally works for that space.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing.
owners of businesses,
Yeah.
salons, and they were saying that they've looked at their business and they know they can do more with the space they
Yes.
have, but they can't think of it and they don't know any professional. They see people that do decoration,
Yes.
but nobody to come up with creative ways to design that place and make it. So we're waiting for you to
It's
finish.
so hard.
You
I'm
have
drawing,
work.
can you imagine, like an architect, I'm drawing floor plans, I'm putting
Wow,
things
that's
everywhere.
nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well done.
Thank
How are you
you.
doing, Nima?
Very well, traffic.
How's
this
your
morning.
area? I thought it would be better by now.
It's not.
It was, but
It's not, and I felt discouraged because landlords in my area think that they can continue to spend millions building houses, probably from bank loans that they've taken, and not bother about the value of their properties that commercial activities is making to deteriorate. So presently we have about 4 terminals operating, and those terminals laid siege to the entire area yesterday. There was no going out, no coming in. Until this morning, I couldn't even come out, so we had to go back, find our way to barracks and get out of the community.
And with your Okada ban, I'm sure it's
It's
making it
tougher
worse.
for people. And I was talking to someone yesterday, and the landlord said that we cannot go and protest too. Recently, I was speaking to one high-placed person, and he was saying to me, Nima, your people are not ready. If they cannot picket these terminals, and terminals operate, imagine a warehouse just park trucks and take over one part of 2 roads, and
So-
we are only left
so
with
we're not
one.
even
This is not
stopping
by
them from
government license,
carrying out
no
their action. Is
Yes.
that they should carry out their action with sensitivity to the people that live within the area.
You are doing
That's the
commercial
minimum.
activity, at least give back. And in giving back is that you make it the road motorable for other users. You don't just, and truck drivers, they act like their brains left their bodies, like they walk empty-headed. Do you have
It's
pap
actually
in
a
your brain,
Nigerian
for God's
mindset
sake?
where we think of just ourselves.
What if there's an emergency? What if there's a fire? What will people do? Just think about it before you do those kind of things. And you are talking to people, human beings, you that you have put property of millions inside a stage, you are saying, I cannot protest. Hey, let us put money down. What is that? You are not ready for the change.
That's it. That's the
They're
story of
not.
Nigerians. We're really not ready for that. We can
But
talk.
good
but we
news,
don't
we've gotten help. So they're giving us a new transformer. Because we are talking
Oh,
about it.
yes,
That's
finally,
good news.
that's well,
That's from
well
Eko.
done.
To the
Is that a
end.
code disco?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. How are you doing? Tope?
I had a very fantastic morning,
Ah,
honestly.
fantastic.
I cannot deny. I woke up, usually my exercise, and on a normal day, I usually just do like play 2 music, 2 tracks, and go into listening to Joel Osteen or TD Jakes. But today, I just went into YouTube and started listening to Shekere. Shekere is by Tony Rappo, This Present House. And I spent 1 hour of exercise just praying. Like, I don't care anybody looking at me. I was praying the prayer as I was walking and praising and singing. I just feel very lifted in my spirit. And, you know, some pastors do leadership. I'm doing DLA right now, and it's good. But I'm so blessed with a pastor that decided to just worship. And sometimes what your spirit needs is worship and just worship. And I give God all the glory for the way I feel about that.
I'm
moment
happy.
Right now.
It's good to be
I'm
happy.
so happy.
I'm happy for
Good to
you.
know that you're happy. Yeah, good.
Mariah.
I'm fine, you know. Nothing major.
Share.
Which share is that?
All the share you are doing now.
No, honestly, I can't lie. God has just been faithful. I'm surprising myself. Like, yeah. So I'm grateful to
Like
God.
you have capacity to do.
Yeah, like
And I'm sure
just-
you thought you were busy when you were working with TVC.
Trust me, I'm not nowhere near. I'm so busy now, it's crazy, but I'm trying to organize myself, you know. But I'm happy. I thank God. God has been faithful.
Yeah.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we have an amazing guest who's in the studio. But first, we're going to go through the pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Illiteracy in North threats to peace, says Emir Sanusi. It's on his first time saying that. Nigeria faces drug shortage due to coronavirus, NAFDAC warns. Oshu government condemns monarch's fight. $2.5 billion fraud. Magu begs UK to extradite Diazani. Auxiliary back in Oyo Park as manager. And IMF urges CBN to end forex intervention. Let's talk about Emir Sanusi, because I know he's been on this matter for many years.
I know.
At the birthday of the governor of Kaduna, gave this very mind-touching, awakening speech again, talking about the Olowo Kan, Larin Oloshimewa kind of principle that is practiced up north. So I like the fact that he spoke at the elites gathering where people are expected to be comfortable. It is not my problem, it's their problem. He made mention of how 9 states in the north account for, the level of poverty, illiteracy, and lack of civilization that we had, and that the north is only progressing because we have a federal character and quota principle. So based on that, whether they meet up or not, they will get employment. He says that you cannot continue to uneducate your own and leave the South to continue to turn out graduates that don't have jobs. Very soon, this principle that we are enjoying will be outdated. People will start to demand that proper things
he's speaking truth to power, because he's saying 87% of poverty in Nigeria is in the north. Almost 50% of the entire malnutrition burden in the country is in the north. And interestingly, Governor Masari of Katsina added to that. I mean, he agreed that it's not just infrastructure we need, we actually need proper education. And also, Ahmed Laman, that's the president of Senate, also added this. So obviously, these leaders in the north are speaking with one voice.
A lot of leaders how gruesome this issue is. In that Nigeria is currently 18%, we're the highest, we're the headquarters of poverty, but it gets worse because based on the trajectory, a recent research is saying that by 2030, we would have 24% of the world's poorest in Nigeria.
And with the North accounting for about 90% of that.
And the North would account for 90% of that. So when the Northern leaders say this thing, I wonder, what do they do? We have insecurity in the Southwest, and the Southwest governors came together to create Amoteku. What economic plan are the Northern governors coming together to create together?
Okay, so positive note is that a lot of times we have conversations about illiteracy, poverty, and drug abuse in the North, and you never really hear from the North. But recently we see it back to back, and not just the Emir of Kano that is the voice of this right now. A lot of leaders are adding their voices. So for me, just to have that narrative right now is a good thing. So conversations have started, and very soon I'm sure
moving on to the
action will follow.
North destroying itself, end to quota system coming, says Sanusi. NAPTIP charges Lebanese 2 Nigerians with human trafficking. Egba Jalingo released after 6 months of detention.
Sad.
Police arraigned Celestial Church leaders on 85 million naira fraud. Chai, your people. Tension in Imo as Supreme Court sits on Ihe Dioha's review suit today. FG expresses concern over high population growth rate. The Azani stole $2.5 billion supported by generation of looters, says Magu. And World Bank meets over Nigeria's fresh loan request. Let's start with the human interest story. This is NAPTIP. So
NAPTIP has arraigned 2 Nigerians and 1 Lebanese in Kwara State for the for trafficking this lady whose video trended the other day asking for help. She was brought back, and then she was able to locate those agents who call themselves traffic agents and help people. So according to NAPTIP, they've trafficked over about 10 to 16 people, and only 3 have been brought back home. I need to get that figure right, whether it's 16 or 10. So only 3 of them have been rescued, and the 3 people behind this syndicate of trafficking they've been arraigned by the police.
Now, Egba Jalingo, we've been talking about that story for a while. And I'm so happy that he spent 6 months in detention.
Unjustifiably.
I know that.
Unjustified,
yes,
detention. Unjustified detention, yes.
So the first thing is, I know that his wife and his family will be happy to have him back. And I'm still waiting for what the compensation for him would be. Because they've taken his time and put him in detention unnecessarily. It's really sad.
You should be able to sue. I mean,
of course,
he has to.
In fact, he sued already. I'm sure there's a human rights enforcement suit already.
So the federal government is worried about population growth. What are you doing about it?
Right, I read that article.
You are worried about population growth. It is growing at an astronomical rate, and we are not. What are we doing about it?
That was the vice president speaking at an event. And I was just like, okay, it's nice for you to go for these events where you are asked to come to commission.
543 million.
and soon, and there's nothing.
The government cannot do anything. The people that are passing are busy buying cars.
Yep.
Moving on to Vanguard, we have to go. 8 corpses exhumed in Delta for investigation. Court dismisses Kano Kingmakers suit challenging creation of new emirates. Amotekun Ondo lawmakers call off recess. 1,500 Nigerians stranded in Ghana.
Wow.
Border closure, Nigeria's neighbors should stop smuggling banned products, says IMF. I was never attacked by bandits, says Amechi. And Royal Rumble, 15 monarchs demand Oluwo's suspension. Let's talk about this Nigerian stranded in Ghana.
Yes. So according to the elder statesman, Senator Bode Olajumoke, he was recounting his experience on a British Airways flight that refused to land in Lagos and, landed in Accra. And the way they were even just told to get off the plane and find their ways by themselves to Lagos was worrisome for him. He said it was so degrading and inhuman that some Nigerians cannot even afford an airpiece, because he was able to get on an airpiece flight back to Lagos. But some Nigerians cannot even afford that to Lagos, and that is calling on the British Airways to do a public apology to the way Nigerians have been treated during this landing issue. And also he blamed the Nigerian government for not having modern equipment for landing.
Exactly.
Proper lighting for landing.
My aunt is stuck in Dubai right now. She was supposed to come in on, I think, Friday. But she's having to wait till Thursday. And I said, are they going to pay for your hotel? I said, no. They said that it's bad weather.
They did not pay for hotel. Emirates, according to the senator, batteries and phones were dead as he was trying to buy chargers. They said, we are going. The way they were just dealing with them, like,
Let's move on.
I want to say the story, please, before we move on. Niger Delta, in the Delta, particularly Ughelli North local government area, 8 cops were exhumed. So we had issue with the fact that at first 2 were exhumed on Sunday, and 6 were exhumed yesterday. The reason being that allegedly there is a killing taking place by headsmen, allegedly headsmen did this. And the Urobo Progressive Union is saying that they need to investigate properly how they were killed. Some were burnt, some of the cops, these cops were burnt to death, and they also have a case of, they said that if there are any deaths, why are the corpses being hidden from the police, which is why the police commissioner demanded that they exhume these cops and they can have proper investigations to find out what is taking place. I'm happy the police is doing something, and we want to see more being done to protect life and property of people. This insecurity crisis is...
We have to move on, unfortunately, to The Guardian. Buhari presidency cracks. And telecoms firms fume as Boko Haram destroys mast in Yobe. So from this story, we have that the National Security Advisor, Babagana Munguno, is accusing the Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari,
of dabbling into national security affairs. So he would sit on meetings where defense ministers and heads of our defense and security would be sitting. And they had to bring out like a memo to let people know that he is not, in charge of our security affairs and has no right to be sitting on this. And of course, PDP has, of course, jumped on it and says, well, we've always wondered if our president is really the one in charge of running the affairs of the country. And it shows from this memo that he isn't. Let
me point out a few of the accusations Munguno says, just like Mariam said. He says that he presides over meetings with with service chiefs and heads of security organizations, as well as ambassadors, high commissioners, to the exclusion of the NSA. And also, he directly undermines the authority of the president. So obviously, the president has no idea
half of what the president is okay with it.
No, but the thing is, we have a major insecurity challenge in this country, and we're blaming service chiefs. Who should we be blaming? The presidency. Maybe if we blame him enough, he would know what to do concerning this, because we won't have heard about this.
We are blaming him.
Everybody.
We are blaming him.
But now it's good that
we are simply saying rejig.
No, the president is in charge.
He's not in charge.
From what Munguno is saying, the president is
undermined.
Abba Kyari is in charge. And if you remember,
we voted for the president.
If you remember during, I think it was a meeting, or was it during his inauguration? He said everything that you want, every communication should go through the chief of staff.
Yes. So it's two things. If he's not in charge, is to blame. If he's in charge and allowing this happen, is also to blame.
There's no
way. Moving on very quickly. Unfortunately, we can't take it, but let's just take Daily Sun. Insecurity, Abdul Salami offers Buhari solution. I think, and designing 2.5 billion. So basic
major headline in the Sun. Former president, head of state, Abdul Salami was advising the president that the situation of insecurity in Nigeria now and the Shekau strategy. Shekau just released a new video now. He's not dead still. That we should now confront Shekau, because if he's claiming that his insurgency is formed by Islamic ideas. We should call him out. He should come and prove it, put it on the table, and let scholars from Islam also confront him. I think it's about.
For those of you who don't remember, Shekau has died how many times now? 8 times, I believe.
This is 9.
Like he's, I mean, guy just keeps.
Guy just refuses to die.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, this issue of Okada ban. We'll discuss your thoughts on it because I think the Deputy Governor recently made some comments that got everybody talking. And later, we have a KBC in the building. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Lagos State Deputy Governor recently said that Okada-related accidents have been dropped from 28 accidents to 7 since the ban was effected. With this statement, how true is the entire picture of banning Lagos Okada riders in certain areas in Lagos State? You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so I had the opportunity to have a conversation with the governor, with the deputy governor yesterday, and he said that the 28 figure is from the general hospitals in Lagos State. That's minus the private hospitals across the country. And they have, I think, we have quite about 3,000 plus private hospitals within Lagos State. So in just the general hospitals, they had a huge reduction from 28, just about 7 recorded in a month, I believe. Now, when this story broke, people were still saying, how do they come about these figures? And unfortunately, many Lagosians still feel there are other reasons beyond issues of road accidents about concerning the Okada ban. In your view, when you heard this report, did it give you an encouragement that, okay, they've done the right thing by banning Okada, or do you feel that they were still...
I mean, you ban Okada and there are no more Okada accidents. It goes without saying. I mean, it's obvious, stating the obvious, of course. But I read the article, and he talks about that the reason why this ban was made was for safety reasons and for security reasons. So there's also a part where they feel that these people have been used as mules or for using their Okadas to transport arms and ammunition. So I would have loved actually to hear what the data on that says. Have they been able to catch more people who are doing that, or have they been able to stop the movement of these arms? And have they been able to follow a trail to find out where these people are getting the arms? Do you understand? Because for me, I really felt that the most important thing was about security. It's important, too, that we're saving lives, that people are not dying just anyhow. But wouldn't it have been better if the reasons why these accidents ceased was because, we have trained these drivers better, so we don't have a lot of them causing accidents. We have created bike lanes, so they are not within traffic and can cause accidents. But he also mentioned that they were not completely banned, that they were just stopped from plying the major roads and the bridges, which I've always been in support of. So it just seems that...
I feel that in reply to what you're saying, he's saying that nobody has a child, raises up his child to become an Okada rider. It's not a career, it's not a job anybody should aspire to. So circumstances have brought people who should be doing other more productive community developing kind of jobs into riding bikes. Yes, it's meeting a need, but it's not a safe job. And 21 lives, big deal. This is 21 from 27 hospitals that usually have 28 people dead. Having 7 is a big deal, and we must applaud that. It's a good deal, it's a good thing. So what I wanted to say was, when he was given the option of why you shouldn't do this as a job, he said people should consider other kind of jobs like welding, vocational trades. And my thought was, so what was the
measures?
What was the plan to take these people from Okada into other vocations? As in, I want an holistic government. I want a government that has thought through the entire plan and said that as we ban the Okada, when we seize your bike, we register every one of you, we put you in a training center, we train you with a skill, we help you find a job. That is what I want to hear.
Yeah, but a government wouldn't want to train non-Nigerians. They are claiming that many of these bike riders are not, fine. Not just if they are Nigerians, fine. But according to the money, they're from Niger, they're from Chad. These are people that are not Nigerians. So why would I want to train
I ride
Nigerians?
Bikes. They are Nigerians.
By the ones that you ride.
But they are
about a government that has a holistic view on who and who are within their own jurisdiction.
I think that's an excuse.
Really. I just say thank you, Mr. Governor and Mr. Deputy Governor, for the ban, because the reality where I live is that we've had relief. I went to LASU on Thursday. I went to LASU on Friday. Usually when you leave LASU, if you leave LASU at 4:30, between 4:30 to 7, there's no way you will get across Yanoba. This is a 10, that there's traffic, 10 minutes drive to Vokes, that you will leave that place in 2 hours. And the cause of traffic is nothing but one-way drivers and Okada riders. When you're driving, they will be hitting on your car with all sorts of things. You have to wait for them to go and wait for them to be a bit sane. The only saving grace usually is a naval officer trying to get to Navy barracks or Joe barracks. That's the only way you can go through LASU to my end of town. And I went to LASU on Thursday. At 5 to 6, I was still in LASU. I had not finished my business because a friend of mine needs a referral for her master's, and I've been going to LASU for that. And I was worried that how will I get home? How will I get through that area? And I drove through town. I went like again on Friday, just like that.
Just like that.
So even if there are bike riders still disobeying the law on Badagry Expressway, which shouldn't be, and I didn't see enforcement, they largely reduced that menace that we had.
According to also, in addition to what he said, the police reports suggest that many of these bike riders actually have weapons in their bikes.
Yes.
So many have knives.
I was going, you did not let me finish.
Yes.
So that same spot is a usual area, you can confirm, attest to this, a usual robbery spot every time. And they don't just rob, they kill to rob.
Right.
So you're in your car, somebody brings out a weapon and you refuse, maybe you don't have to submit what they're asking. They shoot you straight. And usually when you get area, you come and raid and just pick people trekking, pick innocent people.
So we understand both sides, but I guess the issue is still in how do we meet halfway? Let me come to Mariam for a second.
So we have criminals. So criminals will use bikes, they will use cars, they will use planes. So we have that. We really need to talk about how to handle the problem of insecurity and criminality in our society in general. So that's one. Secondly, we talk about this is not a career, it's not a job, nobody wants their child. That's true, but I would rather my child on a bike than stealing. Do you understand? So that's, secondly, we also make this bike thing, we need to also understand the importance of dignity in labor. So if somebody's doing something legitimately, bringing money for himself legitimately, we should look at it. In other climes, this bike thing is a sport that brings a lot of money.
So we're taking it from
maybe we should also look at other ways we can better
we don't have that space in Lagos State.
We can create it.
Maybe not Lagos State. Let me take this call. We don't have that kind of space for the sports of bike. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, good morning,
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to say I really don't know why they are only pointing the negatives of these Okada riders. Just pointing their defect. My own is, what happens to a situation whereby, okay, like we have the BRT lanes, why can't we have their own lanes for them to do their thing? Coming out of your lane, coming out of your lane will be a crime. But if we are having a BRT lane, we should have lanes for Okada. Is it that our roads are the problem, or because our governor, they are disconnected from us? Yes, they are not feeling what we are feeling on the road now, because they cannot. Even we that are even struggling, when they come with their sirens and the rest, they'll clear us on the road and go their way.
All the time.
So maybe we should ban them too.
So why are they trying to...
Okay. The countries where Okadas are produced, let's talk about China. Do you see them have Okada lanes or bicycle lanes? Okada is a risk in itself. Operating it is a daily risk. Even as a passenger sitting on it, you're not safe. So an accident that happens from it can either cost your life or cost a limb and you're saying that the government should plan in advance to accommodate that. Pros and cons, please.
So the issue is the Lagos State government must actually provide options for Nigerians.
And I've been here, and we've discussed this thing twice. Yes. And when we discussed it, I was on the page of, it was a good thing, it makes life convenient for us and all of that, and the safety and everything, I agree.
What are the
However, when you drive through Lagos now, the crazy traffic we've started experiencing since the ban. Everybody brought out their cars. It's not like I've seen some buses, I must say.
What data
I've seen buses.
You make all these general statements. You don't know.
I know people that did not used to drive their car. There were cars that were parked in my compound permanently.
I drive longer.
Well,
okay, so we are giving
the point is that we can make general statements, but we don't have all the options.
I know. Okay. I talk from experience. So it's what I know people
within my compound that used to take bikes everywhere because they don't like driving, but now have to drive because they don't have an option. But I'm saying now that we can decide to look at, you've been highlighting all the negatives, they have knife, they have that. They are legitimate. Thankfully, we have a video of one girl, legitimate people, especially with the bike hailing apps. Yes. That have legitimately employed and verified their drivers. And they have less accident rates. We have videos and data showing that they don't have accidents, that it rarely happens. So when you now take off those ones too, the implication is pretty wide. I celebrate the good news of 21 lives being saved. So
let me take this call. I'll come to you. Tony has been holding for a while. Tony, are you there? Oh, lost that call.
You know, there's something he mentioned also, which I had brought up in the previous conversations when we had it, was you have these people, the people with the apps, they came and they started a business and invested a lot of money. How were they able to do that? Didn't they have a conversation with the government?
No, they did not.
So, yes, that's where I was going. So the article actually says that these people came in and started this business without sitting with the government. Right. So they paid a courtesy visit, is what they said. But still, it's still worrisome that people can come and set up a whole business that is not approved by the administration, and they did for years.
And that's why I mentioned that. And he said their own government came in last year, and I think there's quite a number of things were settling in. So at that moment, they hadn't had a proper conversation with these guys. It's now they're calling them for meetings, and actually the meetings are ongoing to ensure that they have the right documentation for their businesses.
Miriam, that we cannot take the Okada ban from this administration alone. So during the Fashola administration, they started LASRA. It was for a reason. There was security. They needed to have numbers. They needed to know exactly who in Lagos. They needed to be able to find people. And in my interactions with security agents, I found out that most of these Okada people, they call them no address people. So the people who attack people, when you make your claims, they'll say, okay, we will find them. But there's no address to locate.
The deputy governor was telling us that he went to a certain area, I'll not mention the area, at 1 a.m. He said he saw a bee, like a swarm of bees under that bridge, sleeping there at 1:30 a.m. That was last year. Now, if those, so the point is,
so what the government is saying, when the government,
they don't have a place, they don't have a residential. Those guys have nowhere to live.
Business. You investigate to find the kingpin. If you cut off the branches, the tree is still there. Some people have started a business, they have nowhere to live. That is their house. Those guys cannot afford a bike. Somebody bought the bike for them. Somebody brought them into Lagos. Somebody created that industry. So that person is still there now.
And you have a problem with it. Those people have been working and remitting. They call it a return every day. Payment to the Oga who owns the bikes. Now somebody is trying to do something to say, this form of business that you are doing to further impoverish these young men and put their lives in danger, we have to curtail it. And Nigerians have a problem with it.
We don't have a problem with it.
Let me tell you what I saw. So at the Computer Village on that bridge here, we used to take bikes to the High Court there. But recently I went to court and there were taxis carrying people to the High Court into Ikeja Jaro. So people are looking for alternative ways to
I have to round up. Unfortunately, the Deputy Governor has agreed to come on the show, so hopefully we'll continue this conversation with him next week. I'm expecting him here, and he said that he will come and thrash this problem because Nigerians are still talking about this issue. And it was a painful sight when I was driving on the Ikorodu Road, seeing lots of people walking on that express. They couldn't bike. So I can understand when I just come. So they're both sides of the divide, and we need to find a middle ground. Let me take a few tweets and we'll run off very quickly.
Adebesi Zainab says, yeah, it is true. Especially on the Agege Motor Road, down and Ikeja along axis. They drive recklessly, but I feel the state government still need to re-emphasize on it because they still ply from Oshodi down to Yanokpada during using the new BRT construction lane.
All right, we have to go on a break. When we come back, we have the First Class Oba in the building. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show to discuss security, culture, and tradition amongst rulers is His Royal Majesty, Oba Dr. Michael Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, CFR, the Alake and the paramount ruler of Egbaland. Kábíyèsí o, kádé pẹ́ lórí, kí bàtà pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀, kólórí pẹ́ láàfin, káṣẹ́ pẹ́ lẹ́nu. You're welcome to the show, sir. You're welcome, sir. Good to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, there's so many things happening. that we would like to run by you and hear your thoughts on it. I would like to start with the issue of Amotekun. It's been quite controversial, and the Southwestern governors have fought tooth and nail to get this passed in the House of Assembly. And by Friday, I believe it's passed the first reading, and hopefully by this week. In your view, why is it necessary to have Amotekun exactly?
Well, we have had serious security problems in this country for some time now. And you cannot fold your arms and expect that a solution will come all of it on its own. So if somebody has come up with a proposal to support the police, to help us so that we can sleep with our two eyes closed, why then should there be any controversy about such a solution? So, as you have seen, the whole controversy died down almost the way it started. And everybody, even other states, other groups of states are now saying they too need an outfit to help the police to create a better security in their respective locations.
Yeah.
Obviously. So, yes, Amotekun now is legal, has like an outfit now, but back then, we've always had our own vigilantes. We've had the OPCs, we have the Oduas, you know. Couldn't they have had a collaborative, you know, a relationship with the police such that we do not need this entire outfit that we've now had to create?
Well, we have always had problems with the vigilantes. Even the OPC and the police have had problems in the past. So why can't we now go to the Houses of Assembly and pass the laws to enable us have an outfit that the IG himself would approve of and train them to carry arms for the safety of our people?
Some people in some quarters of our country feel that this may be directed at them because they are known for a certain kind of trade that allows them to pass through the Southwest. We understand that they're criminals, but some are thinking that this could be a way to just sideline a tribe or a group of people. Could you please speak to those people and tell them what really it is about as it concerns them?
Thank you. But I believe nobody will want to be referred to as criminals. Nobody, no tribe will want others to refer to them as people who live above the law. So what is happening is Amotekun, we have been told, will not support any religious group, it's going to ensure that safety of life and limbs are secured in the southwest part of Nigeria. So why should anybody think that it has been set up to come and fight a particular scourge? If there's a scourge, let them remove that scourge.
So I want to ask concern, still within the security issues and security framework of our country. Before, security used to reside within, it has to be local. You need to be able to communally know that, that boy has stolen before, the family, everybody is watching out, and then we know ourselves. We see that the shape of this boy's head, it looks like Omo Lagbaja, Omo Tamedu Lele. And we were able to easily deal with crime locally. But people have accused that because most of the security apparatus that we have right now are people brought in from different states to police us, but have been a difficulty. How well do you see Amotekun resolving this issue by localizing and domesticating our security apparatus within Southwest?
Well, it's good to have a federal police, but it's also good to have local community policing, community security outfit, and this is what this is supposed to address. So I believe we would be better off with what we are heading for now.
Okay, my final question on security, because we've heard from many quarters that we need to sack the security chiefs that we have, and I know you're an ex-military man. I'd like you to tell us your thoughts, because even this morning in the papers, we had Munguno accusing Chief of Staff Abba Kyari, saying that he's actually undermining the presidency. He's actually conducted unconstitutional meetings with the service chiefs. And people are now saying we need to sack these service chiefs and have a total rejigging of the entire ministry strategy. As an ex-military man, sir, I'd like you to speak to that. Do you agree, and what do you think we need to do to help with the security challenges we face in the country?
Well, I believe that people have visions about what they will do when they get to a particular office. So if the service chiefs are done very well, and they have been given extra period to remain in office. That, I believe, they should review and allow others who may have even brighter visions to, to tackle the problems of internal security in Nigeria to take over. The people are asking for the change of baton have done very well.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the most recent brouhaha that happened
In royalty.
In royalty. Because even in the papers today, some protesters are calling for the stepping down of the suspension of the Oba in Osun State. Others are actually protesting in support of him. So I actually got a message this morning saying there are people who support him, that they feel that what he did was fighting for his people. Some were saying that, yes, he was angry, he had an outburst, but he was fighting for the people. Others are saying, no, he must step down. As a first-class Oba, sir, and I know I would like you to hear your views on his outburst, and what are your thoughts? Do you agree with his actions?
No, I don't agree with his action. Okay. It is totally unheard of for an Oba to engage in fighting. So I believe what he has done, whatever must have made him to do it, is totally indefensible. So I think somebody has got to apologize somewhere there. Okay. The sacredness of the Obaship, is what we inherited, and we hope to pass on to those who will succeed us.
Well said, sir.
So I wanted to go further on what he stated were the issues. According to him, he was fighting for his people, and I got messages from some people from his kingdom yesterday saying that he's a good Oba, he's fighting for them, that their properties and their ancestral homes were being trespassed into by other Obas, and they were being sold without their consent. How do we fight this traditionally? What do we do traditionally to do this? And why has that traditional method failed us?
How do we settle disputes?
I believe we have the State Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in that state. And they can step in to resolve whatever differences must have arisen between two communities. Was it not the same person that was singing and all those things? If it's naturally pugnacious, he can engage in maybe boxing within the palace. Can set up a boxing club.
But they pointed a staff at him. Is that not?
It's totally unheard of.
What is the implication of pointing a staff? Okay, so someone sent a picture yesterday of the staff being pointed at the former president, and that because as a result of it, he lost his his second term bid. What's the implication of the staff being pointed at him?
I don't know what implication it has. Okay, so it must have been a coincidence.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with the Oba. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Kabiyesi with us. So, sir, many people do not know that your grandfather, Oba Gbadebo II, was actually the first traditional ruler in West Africa to visit the monarch in British in 1902. Tell us a bit about this Egba United Federation that is coming up. What is it about?
Thank you very much. In 1893, the Egba signed a treaty of friendship with the British on 3 conditions. That first, we must stop human sacrifice. Second, we must stop blocking trade passing through our territory. And the third one, that we must, what was the third thing? I will remember later. So we signed this treaty, and we were able to run our government on our own. When they came initially, they found that we had very settled ways of conducting our affairs. The Ogbonis were the judges. They were the people in charge of internal security. The warriors, the warlords, prevented outsiders from carrying us into slavery. And the Barakois handled commerce. They found that the society was very well organized, and we had other things that put us even ahead of those who came to colonize us.
Really?
Oh, yes. And that is extended family system. We don't allow people to die because they have nobody to take care of them. You come out and say, that is my elder sister's son, nothing like this must happen. Even when the parents have since died and gone. So they don't have that. So they run they have mental cases easily. We don't, lose our heads because we always fall back on, that family, extended family system. So we had other things.
I wanted to talk about part of the advantages and the strength of the Egba kingdom was the great warrior Lishabi, that they do an annual ceremony to remember his bravery about how he fought intertribal wars to bring peace, like in the 1930s and all of that. What exactly does the Egba kingdom hope to achieve by celebrating Lishabi?
Well, we celebrate Lishabi annually to promote selflessness among our people, because he epitomized the love of one's country. Others were working for themselves. He was, working with them in order to use them when it came to his turn for them to help him. It was to help clear Egbaland of those who were our masters, because they had more, we were part of Oyo Empire. So he liberated us from the Oloyo, as they called him then, by killing 250, representatives of Oloyo in one day.
Oh, wow.
And by the time Oyo Empire now descended on us, it was already very weak.
For them to
and so we were able to finish them off. So we celebrate them every year. And next week from 24th, from Monday till 29th, it will be the Lishabi Festival all over Egbaland.
Wow. Let me take this call from Oduntom, our Otumba, Sunday or this one. I know you're an Egba man. Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Good morning.
Morning. Your Oba is in the building.
This is Sunday Oduntom.
Yes.
We are sure you are from Egbaland. Kadesi, Kade Pelori, Kibata Pelesesa. Ejo, please, what can Nigeria as a nation learn from the Egbas, considering the fact that the Egbas are the first to be an independent nation from 1898 to 1914, before that so-called amalgamation threw us into the country called Nigeria. Consider again the fact that the Egbas are the first to produce a chartered accountant, to produce a lawyer, to produce a judge, and of course to produce the first chief justice of Nigeria. What can Nigeria as a nation learn from the Egbas? The first nation to have electricity, to have water. The first nation to
We have heard you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Please go ahead.
Well, the Egbas have a lot
to be proud of.
To be proud of, and to recommend to the rest of Nigerians. First, over the years, we have been celebrating the need for educating the girl child, because we believe that sending them to go and hawk wares cannot take us anywhere. So the first woman to drive a car in this country was Fela's mother.
Yes.
And the first woman to enter Better Grammar School was that same woman. So every year we promote one item or the other. This year, we're talking of culture. We're talking of bringing in so many people to come and study what we have to show them. Other years, we have promoted skill acquisition. We have ensured that everybody has something, to work on, that you are never totally idle.
Right.
When you want to be employed, they ask you, what do you want to give us? What have you got for us? You should be able to say something. And when it comes to living in unity, in Egbaland, you have Christians and Muslims, you don't know any difference.
Good.
Let me come to Mariam.
We join ourselves to celebrate every festival.
Fantastic. Yes, go ahead.
So you said something that is just mind-blowing. I would never have thought to be discussing mental health, with you. But you said, you mentioned how the history shows that the extended family, how it helped with mental health. And right now it has almost become a scourge in our society. We're struggling with that. And to think that we already had the answer to it and we have left it because truly our families are going more nuclear than extended recently. So, usually we think it's just the loss of the language that we're losing, but it seems that we are not well informed about our culture, so we have lost the benefits that we would have learned if we knew about it. And I think this event that's happening, is it more about sitting people down and talking to them about this culture?
How do we even begin to help Nigerians, especially today?
More communal, take care of our...
The man we call Lishabi, you know, has been the greatest patriot that Egba has ever produced. Patriotism will take many of the ills out of this country, because many people who should not be doing things, who should think more of the whole nation rather than their own pockets. Why should everything that we set up, why should anything where government has put money, why should it end up in individuals' pockets? Why should people work for themselves rather than for the nation? So this is what we teach, and we keep on teaching. We can never be tired of doing that.
Kabiyesi, recently the House of Reps have voted 400 cars for their members, and they've insisted that these 400 cars should not be made here, and that even cars assembled here is not befitting of their status. Now, they are lawmakers, and because we run a representative democracy, they are us in the House. Is it a reflection of who we are as a society, or that, you know, patriotism, like you talked about, is something lacking in our leadership, and we should do something about it?
So an Egba man is there.
Well, I'm sure there was a time when we produced cars in this country, when we assembled cars in this country, and those cars were first class. So what has happened?
They still assemble.
They are not.
The Peugeot cars are assembled here.
Not the quality that we used to have. Why should we, not have those quality that we used to have? Volkswagen were assembled here and they were very good. Peugeot cars, 505, 504, were assembled here and they were very good. Comparable to anywhere in the world. Why should the quality go down? So don't blame the members of the House of Representatives. We should.
But sir, I mean, everybody who I know that have driven an innocent vehicle, I said that car is strong, rugged, and it's perfect for the Nigerian roads. It's a serious endorsement. Everybody that's driven an innocent. I think the leadership should take that first opportunity to show, to lead by example.
A show of confidence to have the House of Reps use an innocent
vehicle,
and it would fund
even if
the
it breaks down. Let's assume that it's not even durable. It is Nigerian. Exactly. For that patriotism alone, we should support it. Is that not how it's
taking our money out there?
When I was in the army, all generals, all senior officers used Peugeot made in Nigeria cars. And like I said, they were very good. I don't know about innocent vehicles, but I know I've seen one or two buses, with the name on it. And they looked to me, they looked okay.
Fantastic. I can endorse it because they have our official vehicles here. I have to go on a break. Okay. Olori is in the house. Many people don't know that you only have one Olori, one wife. And she has a PhD in French. Wow. We'll meet her after the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. So joining us is the Olori of Egbaland, Dr. Olatokunbo Gbadebo. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Now, I know I'd like to take a few tweets because lots of them are already greeting Kabiyesi. If I can ask our
Honorable
question. Yes, please, very quickly.
Okay, Honorable Ademola Alalade says, please help me ask His Royal Majesty how he feels the Amotekun should be constituted in terms of personnel.
Well, we'll come to that. We don't think that's so serious. That's details.
Timileyin Akorede says, this king is so intelligent. His responses are very short, straightforward, and meaningful. He shows in his speech and his response that he is a ruler, a good king. You don't have to talk too much to answer questions. That's exactly what I'm learning from the Alake of Egbaland.
Let me come to Olori. Ma, you're a PhD holder and you're obviously well educated. Why would you marry an Oba?
He was not an Oba when I married him.
Okay. But how does it feel being the Olori? I mean, of a kingdom in Egbaland?
Well, it's fine. It's good. It has its responsibilities.
Like?
But, the social aspects of it, keeping up with engagements and things. It's not easy.
Yes. So I wanted to ask about that, the sacrifices that women make when they're married into royalty or married into leadership. Sometimes it seems like you make the sacrifice of yourself because you have to fulfill the responsibilities of being the wife. Take us through that journey, being a PhD holder and having to just serve people as the Olori, as opposed to you going ahead and doing all your personal things.
Your career.
Well, I became a PhD holder after we were married.
Okay.
So that sort of puts it in another perspective. Being the wife of an Oba, or somebody in public view,
right.
It's like another job. So you may have 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, and it takes some juggling to get things right. It's not easy, but it can be done, and it has been done successfully.
You're doing
There is a perspective, that once, and this also goes to KBC, that once you're educated, especially if you're trained abroad, you're somewhat disconnected from the people. You don't see what they see, you don't feel what they feel. But you are educated, and yet you're still the paramount ruler of people in that community. How do you relate with them at that level? Do you have issues in being relatable with them?
No, not really. They're very warm. They're very welcoming. That's why they're called Egbas anyway. Egba. And I grew up here.
Okay.
I did not grow up abroad. I grew up here, so and I'm from Egbaland anyway. So it took a little bit of adjustment.
Right.
But I think all in all, it's been a happy experience.
Ma, the royalty across, but not Egba particularly, now has had their own bits of controversies. We've heard where royalty has to divorce, to remarry, to, those kind of things that were unheard of the stool of Obaship across our traditional, stools across Nigeria in those days have now become recently where we find it in social media. We even bring the royalty. How do you feel when you have to read off gossip mags about some royalties having to descend to that level?
Well, it can be upsetting, I must confess. Sometimes it can be upsetting. But, well, that is life. You take the good along with the bad, and you try to make the best of whatever situation you find yourself in. Sometimes the criticism may be unfair, and maybe at that point in time, you have to step back and take a critical look at yourself and your situation, But I think it's
Okay, Kabiyesi, let me come to you because because I even want to. How come we didn't marry a second wife? People expect that the whole Kabiyesi, the minimum
2005,
4 wives.
They will have given you another one as well.
The minimum.
What happened? I have a ready-made answer for you. I came from a polygamous home, and as a child, I was determined not to be polygamous. I've been married for 49 years.
Wow. To one wife.
To the same wife.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. And I have no cause for regret.
Wait, Olori, let me ask you that question.
What are you doing?
Olori, let me ask you. Has there been any woman in the that is just trying, that just comes around, tries to come and, there's always that woman.
Let me be quite frank with you. Not that people have not tried,
or
some people have not promoted.
Yes, we know those ones.
I mean, you know your husband. You've been together for so many years. I mean, there are very few tricks that he can get up to. Amala.
And it's light.
Occasionally with Begiri.
She grew up in Ibadan.
So she knows how to make it light.
This international story making the rounds. We talk about when we talk about the monarchy in Britain. I try to always try and relate it to us. So we have heard of Prince Harry giving up his responsibilities for the love of his life, and I'm wondering, sir, as a royal father, what did you think of it? Because Nigeria is not our business, but we're all talking about it. But we'd like to hear from, the monarchy here. What do you think about a step like that?
Well, in Britain, because of the level that they had already reached, I would think the responsibility is much bigger than you can imagine. The loss of individual freedom the way you had to comport yourself all the time. So if the young man saw a way out of it and opted out, and he's still going to make a lot of money, it's not going to be in want.
Right.
And he's just copying the Queen's uncle who abdicated the throne also for the Queen's father.
Those presidents already. Let me take Alhaji Subara. Alhaji Subara, thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm right.
Go ahead, please.
Young sister, sister. Yes. I'm so emulate. I'm so enthusiastic based on the historical of Egba people. And in fact, I'm so proud of Egba people in terms of civilization, in terms of progressiveness. And in fact, we want to talk about Nigeria. When we reckon with the history, I think civilization came from Egba. I'm proud to hear that from you. But my question to you, sir, is you made mention of something. The Egbas have been organizing themselves, they have been managing themselves, before the amalgamation. What is your observation based on Nigerian amalgamation? Are we being progressive, or what is your own view, sir? Thank you very much, sir.
The amalgamation was a great disaster to us in Egbaland because we had never been part of the rest of Nigeria. In fact, when the amalgamation took place in January 1914, it took Lord Lugard another 8 months before he brought Egbaland into it. And an agreement that was struck between two nations, a single person has no right to abrogate it, unilaterally. And that was exactly what happened to us. When we took the first loan to build electricity in Egbaland, another loan for Third Road, even before Lagos, we paid back that money. So we were determined to make progress. We had all the educated Egbas who came even from Sierra Leone after the liberation of the slaves. They were part of that Egba United government, and they made it work, and it worked very well.
So I want to ask you, because one of the things people worry about is our monarchy, the people that are Obas and rulers in different sections of Nigeria, don't have an official role, so they don't have a constitutional role. So they have this birthright that they are going to become the king, but in essence, what can they do? So and you feel the plight of the people, but your hands are tied. How would you advise Obas to influence things going on within their domain?
Well, every Oba has the role of ensuring that he's part of the progress of his people. He has to be the one that galvanizes them into, what they should be doing and moving forward at all times. If an Oba sits on his ass and everybody goes, and ignores him, then that is the problem of that Oba. If you know that you cannot make your people better than you made them.
Even with no rule, you should still influence.
You should still be part of it. Education-wise, creation of jobs, hospitals, what have you, everything that will make your people to be better.
Let me take
you should be part of it.
Yes. Chef Tommy says, our KBS is really landing great words in short forms. You don't have to be, you don't have to state an essay to lay facts. God bless you, sir. And
official milestone says education is key. You're a good example to all kings.
Okay, sir, let me ask you concerning people. A lot of our children travel abroad, and they refuse to come back. Even when they come back, they have this foreign mentality in their language, in their dressing. They don't appreciate the culture. And I see you are equally educated, and obviously you schooled abroad and you came back. Now, how do we begin to reconcile who we are, who we truly are, with the fact that we've been educated? But how can we ensure that we buy back what we've lost, especially because our children have gone abroad? How do we begin to bring that reconciliation? Because obviously we can't move forward if we don't know where we're coming from. Let me let the Olori answer that question.
Well, the responsibility lies a great deal with the parents. When you send children abroad, you don't abandon them abroad. You bring them home for holidays. You speak their language to them. They should be able to speak their native language. It's not anything that would be considered embarrassing You know, you make them eat our local food. You give them their own identity. You let them know who they are. Their roots, they have to know their roots. And when that happens, I mean, many children will come back home. They will look forward to coming back home.
The Egba language is peculiar. It's not the general Yoruba language. So it might not
very
be
melodious.
It might not be easy for a child abroad to
children speak the language, your children?
Yes, of course. They speak Yoruba very well. They may not speak Egba because they've never really lived in Egbaland, but they speak and understand Yoruba.
So, let me take Yakuba. Come to you, Yakuba has been holding for a while. Yakuba, are you there?
Morayo, I'm there. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to Kabiyesi. Kabiyesi sir, Adépẹ́ lórí òun kí bàtà pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. Èmi ò jẹ́ rọ́bà fín, ẹni rọ́bà fín òun lọ́ba pa. Kabiyesi o. Morayo, I love the comment that Kabiyesi gave us this morning concerning the issue of Olu of Uwo. Morayo, no matter what happens, that is why you are Obas. No matter who provokes you, you should be able to control your anger. And then, Morayo, I want to tell you this. I am very sure the Olu of Uwo is a friend of the house. I would like you to invite him so that we'll have his own part of story. Please do that.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Please, I wanted to ask you, just a few weeks back, we celebrated, the world celebrated, commemorated an end to female genital mutilation. Sadly, it's still the highest done in the Southwest, maybe not under your Egbaland, but within the Southwest. How are you as an enlightened Oba communicating with other Obas within your region to stem and put a stop to this violation of women through the female genital mutilation?
Well, I must say that that has gone with time in Egbaland. We are not just the leaders in terms of civilization for nothing. That is not, it has never happened in the 15 years that I have been there. You know, if they are still doing it in other places, we should educate them and let them know that, you know, this mutilation has to stop. It puts out, you know, it makes us to feel ashamed all over the world. Because some people refuse to come back home because they claimed rightly or wrongly, you know, even when there's no threat, they still put it there, you know.
I know that the festival is next week. Tell us a few highlights so that we're expecting for the Lishabi Festival.
This Lishabi Festival, we have, to start with, seminars and, you know, lectures to promote culture as the way to economic growth of Egbaland. Because if tourism is encouraged, at the moment we have the first and only presidential library in Nigeria, in Egbaland. The Olumo Rock is there. The Adire Market is there. You know, and we have the first Bible, the oldest Bible in Nigeria, is in Ake Palace. And so many other small things that you can come and, you know, see, and people come every day. So we want to promote our culture as a way of promoting our economic advancement in Egbaland.
Let me take more tweets for you. Yuzi says, so TVC Connect brought my king, the Alake of Egbaland, to your view this morning. Nice to see him though. The Egbas are very intelligent and hardworking people. Awalomo Abeokuta. Mo Taiwo says, me too. What a brilliant guest on your view today. Learned more about my hometown. I'm highly impressed. I'm a proud Omo Egbarewa.
Just make sure you go to the Lishabi Festival. All right, we have to run over. I'd like to ask you this final question. Do you believe Nigeria should think of that thing called true federalism? Everyone's talking about restructuring. Do you think we should restructure based on the fact that Egba was actually an independent nation in itself?
Well, I am a true believer in that experiment called Nigeria. And I believe no matter how well a system is working, you have to do some review of it. Maybe it can work even better if it's working. You know, so in Nigeria, if restructuring will bring development to Nigeria, bring, you know, togetherness to Nigeria, make us think as, you know, the brothers keepers, I believe we should restructure.
Thank you very much. Olori, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. That's all we can take on the show today. Tomorrow is our live audience show. Please don't miss it. Have a fabulous day. See you then. Bye-bye.